Hello everyone, welcome to Toxiscandia, stories of a toxicologist living in Scandinavia. My name is Sveta and today we are going to talk about fears of Nordic people in Nordic countries, in Scandinavian countries. And I have been living in this region for over 13 years by now. I have lived in Finland for 9 years. Finland is a Nordic country, but not a Scandinavian country. Then I have lived in Sweden for a year and a half. And now for more than 3 years, I have been living in Norway. This video, I'm going to name 5 the most relevant fears that people can experience here in this region. This is of course from my view, but if you are interested, please continue watching this video. Fears and anxiety is something that we all experience as humankind. So of course some of these fears that I am going to discuss today are general for all the people, but I will focus on how these fears actually express themselves in Nordic societies, because there are some peculiarities in there. So let's start with the first one, and it is the loss of financial stability. This is of course common worldwide, especially nowadays, that people are not feeling secure about their futures in terms of financial aspect. And in many places, people are actually used to this financial turbulence. And for those who have lived in the Soviet Union or in post-Soviet countries or in Russia, I am myself originally from Russia, we are very familiar to concept of financial instability. And I think everyone experienced it in some way in these regions. There are other regions that are not as stable as Europe in general, and especially Nordic countries. But Nordic countries and Scandinavia have been quite stable in this sense, and people are used to this stability, used to this financial well-being, and there has been no risk of losing large amounts of money, for example, as it happened in Soviet Union when the banks just collapsed and people lost money. Here, this risk has not been relevant, and I don't think it's going to be relevant in the future. And the main fear that is inside people's minds is a global financial crisis, weakening of currency, weakening of local economies, weakening of European economy, and a gradual loss of this financial stability. So something that happens slowly, but slowly decreases your level of life, your everyday financial environment. And people are trying to follow this up on social media, on mass media, everywhere they can get information from. They're trying to read articles, they're trying to affect their spendings, their balance between income and things that they buy or they have to spend money on, for example, electricity. A lot of people are actually following how much electricity costs hour by hour, and then are trying to adapt their use of electricity according to this information. So this is for some people like everyday life. As I said, this financial stability, financial comfort, and comfort in general is one of the basic values of Scandinavian region. It is something that people are quite used to, and this is a part of feeling safe, and feeling safe is the basic value of any person, any human being. This is why this fear of financial instability, it actually is closely connected to feeling unsafe. That is why this is of course very basic fear and very basic type of anxiety that people experience every day, and especially nowadays when it is the whole world is very unstable. But for Scandinavian people, it is not maybe based on real experience of financial collapse, but more on experiences of other countries and on the direction that everything is going to, and on this slow gradual changes that are maybe not changes in a positive direction. So that is why people are worried, and this fear is coming on the surface and is very relevant to many Nordic and Scandinavian people. Fear number 2 is something that became relevant not that long ago, is a fear of war and military conflicts. This, of course, fear that has been on subconscious of all European people probably after World War II, and it has come up to the surface, to conscious mind after 2022 when Russia invaded Ukraine, and of course it triggered a lot of fear in people in Nordic and Scandinavian regions, just because they are so close to Russia, just because they have history with Russia, including military conflicts in the past. And for older generations, this is maybe some old fear that just revived itself, but for younger people, maybe this is something totally new type of fear. The situation in society in Nordic countries, in Scandinavia, is not the same as is in Central Europe, for example. If we compare, of course, the anxiety is higher in Nordic region, but if we compare to Baltic countries, for example, it is of course lower. So here you can see the difference. And out of the Nordic countries, of course, Finland is the most worried one, and you can actually feel it there, I think, in the air. And people are afraid of unpredictable actions from Russian government, and they are feeling very unsafe because they cannot actually influence that in any way. And of course, in reality, this fear, this anxiety is not as strong as it may be pictured in mass media, because mass media tries to cause very strong emotions in people. That is why they are exaggerating things. But this fear is, of course, present in society as well. And it exists somehow in the background of people's minds, and it may be expressed in different ways. For example, governments testing emergency alarms in the cities, sending brochures with instructions for different emergency situations. Of course, it's not only war. It can be also natural disasters, different industrial catastrophes, or anything. They also are reviving concept of bunkers, especially in Finland, but in other Nordic countries as well. And something that is more common probably for Norway is tracking of espionage and sabotage attempts. This is because Norway is mostly not afraid of active military conflict, but more of sabotage and espionage attempts. So this is something specific for Norway, as I feel. So this is something that unfortunately exists in everyday life of Nordic people, and this is something that will probably exist for at least some years. Number 3 is going a bit away from political side of things and coming to more societal, psychological aspects, is loss of respect and reputation, meaning losing your place in society. It actually includes internal control, internal censorship, maybe, if you use this harsh word that exists inside every person. And this is not usually dictated from the above. There is no agenda from governments that will tell you how to behave, how to respect people. There are, of course, laws, but there are also a lot of unspoken rules, a lot of expectations that people have. And it may include like basic politeness, smiling in the elevator, opening doors for people, holding doors, but it also includes some deep basic things that are somehow incorporated into people's minds, and they are not really spoken out loudly. This is just something that people know. For example, subjects that you can or cannot discuss with people in different relationships, with friends or people that you don't know that well. Also, some opinions, especially radical opinions, are not usually welcome, but you of course would not be persecuted if you express something like that. but you can get isolated or even cancelled in some cases, and people are actually afraid of this side of things, and that is why they control themselves from the inside. And as I experienced it myself, it's more common in Finland. People are, I would say, more neurotic. They are thinking more about how other people would feel about their actions, but it is generally true for other Nordic countries as well. And there are, of course, many gray areas, many unclear things, so people get worried about them often, especially in cases that are not very usual. Of course, people are used to behaving certain way, and sometimes they know it from their childhood. But if some stress situation, something unusual occurs, they may be in a totally new uncomfort zone, and then they have to come up with new strategies, and this can be related to a lot of anxiety regarding your place in society. Number 4 is fear of big changes and new things. This is some kind of conservatism that is quite typical for people in the Nordic region, and it of course comes with age, so young people are maybe not that conservative. And I would say that Scandinavia and Nordic countries are quite conservative in this sense, and it is not in terms of freedom or human rights. They are, of course, they are very progressive, but in terms of attitude to very new things, people can be very cautious there, and they can be very suspicious about new cuisines that come to the city, new restaurants, for example. They would wait till other people try it and then they would try it themselves. Or also some changes that come to the office culture, for example, or to the education, they can be a bit skeptical at first and only then embrace that. And there are some things that people are just used to do. It's like a tradition, something that they feel comfortable doing. For example, if you go fishing for 2 weeks in summer, and you will do it every summer, no exceptions. Or if you are used to go to the same place for vacations, this is quite typical, and you would not be willing to try something new at all. For some people, it's not necessary at all. So it is quite unusual for me because I'm not that kind of person. And changes, getting used to new things takes time, and people expect that they have these transition periods to get used to these changes. And in general, changes are small and very gradual, so that people can be quite calm about that. They are not stressed, and due to consistency of these changes, the changes in society, big changes happen, not because of these huge leaps that they take only small steps, and then the big change happens. So this is the strategy that they follow in Nordic countries usually. But of course, some changes are implemented quite rapidly and intensively. If we talk about new technologies or some proactive changes at the companies, this is something that can be quite fast, and of course cause a lot of turbulence in the society, in the groups of people. But this is, I would say, an exception. So usually it's quite slow and gradual in general. And speaking from my personal experience, I'm very different in this sense. I am quite open to new things, although I wouldn't say that I'm not conservative at all. Of course, I am cautious about things that I don't understand, about new things that come into life. But I am quite open to traveling to new places, trying new things. And sometimes I feel that my colleagues at work, they look at me like I'm like a museum piece, something very weird, maybe weird in a good sense. They are very positive about that. I don't get any negativity regarding this, of course, but still it may feel a bit weird to be open to new things in this society, because you will differ a little bit. Maybe it's a good thing actually to differ in this sense, because with an example, you can show other people that maybe sometimes new things are good. So this is something that we can all look forward to. We can try sometimes. So this is maybe something that foreigners can contribute to these societies. And number 5 is a fear of environmental problems and climate change. This is something that is widely discussed in mass media, in different sources of information. People get a lot of information about that. It's always on the background. It's discussed every day, everywhere, I would say. And since the changes are not that fast, we only see them, starting to see them now. So this is maybe not really a fear, but a lot of anxiety about that topic, and especially anxiety regarding the next generations that come after us, and how would we respond to them when they ask why you have behaved this way and now the planet is destroyed because of you. So this is something that people are thinking about, and this is something that always is appearing on the background of people's minds. And in practice, I feel that sometimes the focus of this strategies that we use is a bit wrong, because it's very focused on things that people can do themselves, and I think it's more psychological, that you can actually contribute to strategy of reducing our impact on climate, and of course you can do your part, but in general focus should be on things that would really change the picture, on corporations, on these agents that are really affecting the environment. And this is maybe something that is lacking, and people, I think they subconsciously feel that, and feel that maybe we as a society in Nordic and in Europe, in the world, we are not doing enough. So that is why it can lead to frustration, and it only increases the anxiety. So this is some vicious circle that is going on all the time. And I know that in many countries people don't even know about that. It's not a common knowledge that we are actually screwed, and planet is going to hell, and we are going to experience these consequences very soon in the whole world. So people just don't even know about that and don't think about that. And in Nordic region, it's totally other way around. So here people are very aware, but since it's not much that every person can do, the level of anxiety and fear is quite high. Feeling of unsafety comes here, and yeah, people are quite worried, quite annoyed about many things. So this is unfortunately also one of the fears that people experience on everyday basis. I covered some of the fears that I feel are the most important for Nordic region and societies in Nordic and Scandinavian area. And if you have something else to add, please do that in the comments. And you can also comment on the things that I discussed. Maybe you have different opinion. It would be interesting for me to know. I hope this video was informative for you. If this is so, please like this video, hit the subscription button, notification button, and I hope you stay strong and healthy. I wish you all good luck, and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like